Hellboy. Anum Rama.
Right Hand of Doom. You know, Big Red. Whether it was the comic or the films that first hooked you, you stayed for the world.
Hellboy.
A world where the good guy interrupts Rasputin the Mad Monk to tell him to get stuffed. Where cosmic monsters are summoned by a Nazi head in a jar. I love that one. Where pancakes are a big deal. There's lots to love about Hellboy, but undeniably beneath it all is style. An instantly recognizable aesthetic. Crumbling gothic backdrops, unknowably dark shadows, met by kinetic comic book action. It's art. So where does the art of Hellboy come from? The answer is Mike Mignola, author and illustrator of the comics. The better question is, where does he get his unique style from? Fellow artist Gary Gianni wrote that Hellboy's inspirations include, quote, poetry, myth, and folklore, mixed with horror films and other comics. Where do we begin? Let's start with the man himself. Michael Joseph Mignola was born in 1960 in Beverly, California. He earned a BFA in illustration before working as an inker for Marvel. The inker is the person who adds depth and shading to the already drawn images of the comics. Mignola inked series like Daredevil and Incredible Hulk before moving to DC projects like Lobo and Batman. After success on Batman, he struck a deal with Dark Horse Comics that gave him total creative freedom. Those first days creating Hellboy in 1994, Mignola admits he wasn't looking past the first 4 issues. All he wanted was to create his dream book with no expectations that it would sell at all. But Seed of Destruction did sell. That's the one with the creepy Cavendish Hall frog monsters and that moment with Rasputin. It won a bunch of Eisner Awards and was eventually adapted into the first Hellboy movie. Mignola's dream book totally rocked. So where did his dream come from? Mignola's time inking for Marvel can't be ignored, and Marvel is synonymous with Jack Kirby. Kirby is one of the major innovators in the comic book medium. Captain America, Fantastic Four, X-Men, he created them all and countless others. It was Kirby's style that defined Marvel's aesthetic, the cinematic movement, energy from frame to frame. He rebelled against the minimalist newspaper standard, filling up all of every page. And that legacy is inescapable for Mignola. Compare a fight scene from 1941 Captain America issue to Hellboy's Wake the Devil. Each fight move jumps into the next image, not a single frame wasted in moving the action forward. There's something called the Kirby crackle. Kirby depicted energy and explosions uniquely. Fields of black with intense fractal patterns. In Wake the Devil, you can see the crackle hard at work in the building explosion or fuming from Hellboy's jetpack. It's a staple throughout all of Mignola's work. There's a squadron of other artists who had a huge impact on the medium, of course. Their influence can also be found in Hellboy. Frazetta's epic Conan, the pulpy noir of Kaluda's The Shadow, Wrightson's lush, intricately weird Swamp Thing. From his time working as an inker, and just as a kid who loved superheroes, Mignola was infused with the same styles of the golden and silver ages of comics. Look at any panel with Big Red. You can instantly tell it apart. So what else influenced the art of Hellboy? Mignola said in an interview that sometimes I create characters in order to see places as an excuse to draw that world. Victorian houses, shipwrecks, arcane laboratories, ruined churches. These are the worlds of Hellboy. They're also the settings of classic horror. Horror like Lovecraft, Poe, but also horror films. Mignola's admitted that when he draws a place, he models off the movie version of that place. If I'm doing Victorian London, it is more like a 1940s film version of London. I've given myself distance from reality. Cavendish Hall in Seed of Destruction is not so different than the Victorian house of 1963's The Haunting. Herman von Klemp's fortress is akin to the laboratory in Bride of Frankenstein. It's not a stretch to compare the castle of Vampire Gurlesque to Dracula's. Speaking of vampires, let's look at the OG movie vamp, Nosferatu, directed in 1922 by the OG German expressionist F.W. Murnau. Forget the monster, check out those shadows, right? The idea of the German expressionist movement was to distort the setting so it conveyed the inner emotions of the story rather than look realistic. Sound like Hellboy? Lots of shadows, clunky shapes, exaggerated angles of the building's architecture. It's an expressionist world. Hellboy's just living it. Mignola spent a lot of time in college watching movies like Nosferatu and those inspired by it like Black Sunday and Night of the Demon. It's no coincidence that Mignola later illustrated for the 1992 Dracula film. I did not know that. What about the Hellboy movie itself? Does Guillermo del Toro's adaptation fit the original aesthetic? Well, let's look at the intros of the comic and film. Rasputin and the Nazis gather on Ptarmigan Island and summon Hellboy before the good guys intervene. In Mignola's rendering, gloom covers half of everyone's face. The ancient henge is dark, jutting abstractly from the earth. When Hellboy arrives, the fire is kinetic, filled with the Kirby crackle. The image takes up half the page like a portrait from far away. In the film, the world is brightly lit by Klieg lights. Rain pours down, making a detailed atmosphere. We see Rasputin's face in full. Then Del Toro gives us a glimpse of the cosmic uber villain Ogdru Jahad, close up too. Then the fight begins. There's a steady rhythm of cuts. We see the same action from different POVs rather than propel forward with every frame. So the movie doesn't seem to adhere to the art of Hellboy, maybe because that just isn't doable. Del Toro admits as much in his intro to Conqueror Worm. I've aspired to imitate Mignola's mysterious style. Alas, his hyper-expressionistic lighting is almost impossible to reproduce in a 3D world. In the end, Del Toro created his own art and an awesome movie too. He also made a good point. Hellboy's style is mysterious. The deeper you dive into it, like the outer dark of Mignola's universe, the more undefinable it gets. Perhaps that's because Mignola doesn't consciously emulate any particular style or story. He omnivorously devours all the things that he loves like one of his cosmic monsters. What comes out onto the page is entirely its own phenomenon. To paraphrase Alan Moore, the effect that is Mignola's delightful necromantic conjuring makes his work as good as we remember the original influences being. It'll be exciting to see, one day when Mignola is as hallowed as a Kirby or Lovecraft, what artists are inspired to conjure him. Till then, us lucky fans will get a whole new Hellboy movie, directed by Neil Marshall, adapted from the volume The Wild Hunt. Mignola said that it'll be less superhero movie, more of a journey through European folklore and horror. Will it faithfully recreate the art of Hellboy? Probably not exactly, but that's okay. Mignola's still continuing his own work. So, as Big Red would say, cut to the end, will ya? That's all for this video. Check out all the other things that we do on Gamma Ray for other emotional thoughts and deep dives into your favorite artsy things. And tell us about other deep, dark horror comics that you enjoy, like Hellboy. Or Lovecraft. I don't know, whatever weird things you goths are into. I don't know, check it out. Hit the bell.